Brett Dawson at the Paycom Center, where you might be able to hear down low on the court. There's still basketball happening. It's not the Thunder game. That's over. A 127-123 OKC loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. And let me tell you, 127-123, pretty deceptive on a couple of levels. The offenses were not as sharp as that score might indicate, and the game was not really as close as that score might indicate. The Thunder and Sixers each had two stars, really have big games. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey for the Sixers, Chet Holmgren and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the Thunder. But even with those guys scoring and playing pretty efficiently, the OKC offense felt a little out of rhythm. They fell behind early, 15-6. They had a 29% shooting third quarter. And while the percentages weren't quite so out of whack over the course of the game, part of that is a hot shooting fourth quarter that mostly happened at the end as OKC extended the game. Not really a comeback per se, down 7 and managed to extend the game and give itself a chance if Embiid would have missed some free throws. He didn't, 19 of 21 for the game, and perfect down the stretch. So on a night when two of its stars were really going, I think the Thunder missed J-Dub, Jalen Williams, quite a bit, still out with that hip injury. The start of the fourth quarter where OKC really needed some kind of offensive jolt and just couldn't find it. Mark Daignault was trying some different kinds of combinations. Lou Dort was not particularly effective. The rookie Cason Wallace maybe had his least impactful game as a Thunder player. So Daignault was trying everything. Some Davis Bertans, some Aaron Wiggins, just trying some different mixing and matching of players. Didn't try Vasa Micic, which might have been a thing to try at the start of the fourth quarter when that offense really kind of stagnant. Couldn't get a whole lot going. Once Chet Holmgren and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got back in the game, Thunder made a push. It really just wasn't good enough to get the job done. Interesting thing we did see Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams, J-Will, play together, two bigs. Haven't seen much of that. Got to see those guys play extended minutes together. It looked pretty good. J-Will had 5 assists. All of those went to Chet. And so, those guys kind of finding a little bit of rhythm together. Might see a little bit more of that this week as the Thunder on Tuesday goes to Minnesota, where it will face a surprisingly good Timberwolves team, off to a surprisingly good start. I think everybody expected the Wolves to be good, but maybe not the best team in the West at this stage, which they are. Big lineup, Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert. How the Thunder deals with that will be interesting to see, and if they roll out some of that too big lineup a little bit more. Mark Daignault said it was a plan going in today. We'll see if it's a plan going into Tuesday night as well. Have to talk a little bit about Josh Giddey. He did play today and is playing as the NBA looks into the circumstances around social media post that went viral on Thanksgiving and alleged that he had an improper relationship with a minor. Not a whole lot of further information today other than the fact that he's going to play, and Mark Daignault said that's based on the information the Thunder has now. He said it's not really a decision, to be honest with you, and what he meant by that, as the Thunder spokesman clarified later, is this is now a league matter. The league is looking into it, and we'll see what comes of the league looking into it. The NBA has not used the word investigation, have said looking into, maybe that's splitting hairs, but not terminology that the NBA has used to this point. Anyway, as this is going on, Josh Giddey is playing, and I don't expect that will change unless there are some findings by the NBA that change the current status quo. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll be tracking that story. The Thunder, meanwhile, as I said, 11-5 headed to Minnesota. A pretty big, important clash. We'll see what happens. A couple of days of practice. Do they get Jalen Williams, J-Dub back in the lineup? If not, do they continue to go with Cason Wallace in the starting 5? Do they maybe start big with J-Will, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren? That'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the Giddey thing remains a story, but this is two of the top teams in the West getting together in Minneapolis on Tuesday. So that one should be an interesting one to see how it goes. We will not be making the trip on that one, but we'll have coverage this game, that game, and every game going forward. You can check it out here on my YouTube page and at selloutcrowd.com.